Hey, everybody, and thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Ardmore Connect. My name is Josh Pagan.
And I am Brian Cronin. And with us this week, we have Lisa Burns from mainlinelisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
So thanks for taking time out of your busy day and meeting with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. So to kick things off, why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, Lisa, who you are and what it is that you do?
Sure. I'm Lisa Burns. I am a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway in Haverford, and I've been a realtor for 3 years now. I live in Ardmore with my family. My husband has a business in Ardmore as well. He's an architect, Jack Burns Architecture. And I was the president of the Ardmore Business Association for 5 years. I've been a board member of the Ardmore Initiative. So I know my way around Ardmore, I guess. I do a lot of my business in Ardmore.
You're a seasoned Ardmore pro, sounds like.
Ardmorian.
An Ardmorian. Is that the name, Brian, that everyone uses? Ardmorian?
I think so.
I think Lisa just coined it, if not.
I think it is, actually. But yeah, it makes perfect sense for me to reach out to see how about we get you on the horn and talk about you. And a little bit about things that you've been doing. Since you started your career as a realtor for 3 years, what got you involved in real estate? Was it your husband, architect, or was it just you on your own? Like, what got you involved?
I actually was working with Jack in his office, doing his marketing for a few years and I had a friend that said to me for about a year that I would be really good at doing real estate. And I'd brush it off. And then one day it kind of clicked that it made a lot of sense that I'd get into real estate with my husband being a residential architect. And he helped me navigate through school and getting my license. And that's how I started.
Awesome. So do you guys play off each other a lot? Like when you have clients, you say, oh, hey, look, you want to renovate this. Why don't you call my husband?
That's absolutely what we do a lot. He has clients for me and I have clients for him. And I don't think we even realized in the beginning how much we would get clients from each other. But yes, we work hand in hand a lot.
That's awesome. So I'm glad you guys are able to play off each other or something like that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's great.
So how long have you been in Ardmore?
I have lived in Ardmore in my house for 15 years. And we've had a business in Ardmore, besides my business, my husband's business, for coming on 11 years.
Wow. So truly an Ardmorian family.
Truly an Ardmorian, yes.
Well, did he start his business in Ardmore, or was he working somewhere else before he came into Ardmore? Like, how did you get that connection with Ardmore?
Jack had a partner that he was working in Flowertown with, and when he decided to go on his own, he worked from home for about 2 days. And we went to have lunch at Bravo Pizza one day and looked across, not Bella Italia, looked across, there was a rental sign for an office space, and he's been there ever since.
Wow. That's kind of unheard of, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't usually happen that way. So that obviously was set in stone for you guys to stay in Ardmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely meant to be.
So speaking of Ardmore, let me throw this one at you. Do you have any favorite spots in Ardmore that you like to frequent often?
I hardly ever leave Ardmore. So
Fair
if
enough.
you ask me about any other town, I would say, I don't have any other favorite spots. But yes, we go to McCluskey's a lot. We go to Sam's. We love Trace, the new boutique in Ardmore. We love, Trillium and Rittenhouse Deli. I mean, like I said, we stay in Ardmore, so we go Ripplewood, Bercy, all those places.
I think Ripplewood is Brian's favorite.
Yeah, it seems to be, and Ripplewood comes up a lot in these interviews.
Yeah, it does.
Brian and I were just at Ripplewood recently.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, it seems
you were
one of the go-to spots. And I have to say myself, when I moved here in Ardmore, I've been here now 12 plus years. And I personally did not want to come to Ardmore personally, because I'm a city guy, but I wanted to be somewhere close to the city. Once I was here and with development over the town and how it's became more of a go-to space, I think that this is really more, you don't have to leave to go anywhere else. You can literally, I walk every single place I need to go to. And I'm assuming you do the same, because I think I run into you a lot everywhere.
I know. Which is why I like Ardmore. It's a big town but feels small, and you kind of know everybody. It feels like a Main Street kind of community.
So tell us a little bit about what you have going on right now with the Mainline Lisa.
Mainline Lisa. So yeah, I've been busy, very busy since real estate reopened. I guess that was the beginning or mid-June when we were able to actually start showing properties again. We were technically open, but once we're actually able to show properties, things began to pick up. So it's been very, very busy. I expected things to be somewhat busy when they opened, but not to the extent of where it is now. So I'm thrilled. Sometimes it's a little difficult navigating working from home and having two young ones at home. So that's been fun. Camp mommy and working. So
I was gonna say, what has been the hardest thing for you now that you have to work from home? How have you survived during the coronavirus?
yeah, I think the hardest part is definitely trying to balance work with being a stay-at-home parent and making sure that the kids are having fun through the summer with little places to go and not having camp or pools necessarily to go to. So that's been very difficult, making sure that they have fun while I maintain my business.
Has anybody given you any advice as you first started to do this career?
Yeah, I think honestly, just being myself, and people always tell me to be myself. Sometimes I get very anxious during deals when things might go not my way all the time, and just maintaining who I am and my keeping my personality the same and just being myself with my clients. And I think that's really helped me to expand my business and get good referrals.
The last I looked into it, I think there's about 800 plus realtors on the main line alone. So what is it about you that stands out from everybody else?
I think I'm true to myself. I want to be ethical and keep my clients' best interests at the forefront in any deal that I do. And I think that's helps to separate me from some other agents. And that's what I always keep in mind. Like I said before, just being myself and staying true to myself.
So you pretty much treat them as if you wanted to be treated yourself. So it pretty much how you treat customers.
I'm friends with my clients. Yeah, we usually look forward to having a cocktail when it's all done together, and good friends after that. So
yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah,
that is a plus. It's always good when they become your friends, isn't it?
It makes things a lot easier.
Yeah,
I agree.
Well, I guess you kind of have to get on a personal level with your clients, because for one, you're looking into their personal finances. You're trying to figure out what they can and cannot afford within what they want to buy, and then you're also making sure that they stay within their own budgetary. So in a sense, it's probably good that you become kind of friends, because that's a trusting place to be. Would you not agree?
You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, they have to trust you and you have to trust them. And I think that's why you do become close to your clients. And I like that about my job. I really do. I like that I can have these friendships that come out of and buying a home. And buying a home is very personal, and it could be very stressful for people. So don't they say like buying a house is one of the top 3 most stressful things that you'll ever do? So being able to help people get through that is wonderful.
Did you have someone like that when you bought your home?
I did, and she actually works in the same office as me now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She sold us our house 15 years ago, and she works down the hall from me now. So it's very cool.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good thing. I mean, like I was saying, it's all about being personal with your clientele. And it's one of the things I think a good business person in general, it keeps you separate from everyone else, is that when you become, especially in this day and age, people want to trust who they're spending their money with and who they
Right.
want to be close to.
Yeah, I mean, I was just watching a new series on Netflix, and they were basically saying, you know, kind of similar to this. It's more or less the trust in where you're getting your food from, though. So people want to know where they're getting their vegetables from, where they're getting their grains from, where they're getting their meats from. Is it done properly? You know, it goes back to the whole trust thing, and it's the same thing with buying a house. I think people are starting to move towards wanting to know more about who they're getting not only their food from, but their service from as well. So that integration of who you are as a person to who you are as a professional is so very important in today's day of age. So props to you for something, you know, for putting that as the forefront of your business model. I can appreciate that.
I mean, I think that's really important. You're navigating through a lot that most people haven't gone through or might have gone through once years ago. And I think it can be a very overwhelming experience. And if you can hold their hands through that experience, I think that's terrific.
Yeah, what people don't realize is that it's not just you know, oh well, you know, okay, well you bought how many houses in your life as a client? One, two. Okay, well we did, you know, 25 last year. So let us help you walk through this process. And it really does make people feel at ease when you're able to say something like that to them and hold their hand through the transaction.
Exactly. It can be very overwhelming. And I respect that and understand that. So, and that's again goes back to how I think we become friends, because
Yeah.
navigating that is stressful, and then leaning on me to give them the best advice,
Hmm.
which I hopefully do.
Well, now let me ask you this. When you were first starting up, what was that biggest problem you faced? Do you remember?
I guess the biggest problem I faced in the beginning was getting a handle on the paperwork
A lot of
and
paperwork.
learning the paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork.
A lot of paperwork.
Luckily, it's all online now, and we have great programs that help us through. But just knowing that I was doing the paperwork correctly when I was submitting offers,
Hmm.
always wanting to be the most professional as I could be, sending an offer over or an inspection reply or whatever the case may
Hmm.
be. So that was difficult for me in the beginning, but I think now I have a handle on it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is
I
it
know.
more
You
like
learn over time.
Yeah.
is it more like getting to know also the, like you were saying, to get in the inspections, like are you getting to know, like, I guess, quote unquote, I guess they'd be your vendors or your partners, you're trying to find the right mix to who you want to work with that does the job great for your people?
No, you're absolutely right. I have a couple inspectors that I really like working with. They work on their own, but I do have, like, they don't work for Berkshire Hathaway, but I
Right.
have some that I really do like and will recommend to my clients. And actually, that's where Jack's business also comes in handy. If we need some sort of contractor for inspections, a
Mm.
heater, an HVAC inspector, or a roof inspector, whatever the case may be, he's been really helpful in getting me people to help through that. So that you're absolutely right that is great to have like a team. I have
Hmm.
great contractors that I've been working with, so we kind of
Your
go
very own,
at things with as a team.
I was gonna say, it's your very own super team of experts that you can pull from.
Yes, I like being a super team. I like that.
Yeah.
The big app.
Meet Lisa and the super team.
It
So
might be
did
a
you
little overwhelming coming at you all at one time, but
All right.
people appreciate it in the end.
Yeah.
when you grab
Okay.
those the team that you're working with, were they people that you've known throughout the years working when you with your husband, or are they people that he recommended to you? Like how did you build those relationships? Because I mean that's hard to build a relationship that's
A
real.
little bit of both. Yeah, a little bit of both. As far as inspectors go, and inspectors are so important through real estate, I've met them mostly through just working in real estate and having great ones and having not so great ones, and finding the ones that I think do the best for my clients. And then uh, being in the Ardmore business community, I've built a lot of relationships with a lot of different people, and it's been really helpful to have those relationships for my business as well.
That's right. I wanted to brush upon that.
Mhm.
You being the former AVA president, um, did you find that that was a lot helpful for you as well, with just knowing the right people starting out in your career?
Absolutely. Some of my clients have been people that I've met through the Ardmore Business Association. I get referrals through the Ardmore Business Association. It's been very helpful, very, very helpful. I've been doing some commercial real estate, which I don't think I normally, if I didn't have that connection with the Ardmore Business Association, I don't think I necessarily would have gone that route, but
Mhm.
that's been picking up for me. So I think that's been a direct result of being the president of the ABA and being associated with the ABA.
Now, can you give me a little brush, or for people watching who don't know much about real estate, what is the difference, obvious, besides the obvious of home, personal real estate and commercial real estate? Obviously, the obvious, it's the building. Is there anything different when you're doing a transaction when it comes to doing commercial real estate that as opposed to doing a home real estate?
Good
Um,
question.
yes, commercial realtors don't work on weekends.
Oh, that's a good one.
Monday through Friday, which is kind of nice. But no, not that much is different because you're still, well, at least in my experience so far, I'm still dealing with somebody's purchase of a building that they, are buying as an investment, let's say. And so it's still very personal to them.
Mhm.
Sure.
It's not something they're going to live in per se, but it's still a lot of money that they're spending as an investment to build a portfolio or whatever. So I don't treat it any differently than I would a residential sale. I mean, there's a lot of different paperwork and such, but
Mhm.
overall, the experience for me so far has been pretty much the same.
And do you, if you get someone who's buying a commercial property, do you also assist in getting them tenants for that building?
I have right now a client that is purchasing a building in Ardmore, and I've leased out their commercial space and working right now on getting their residential space. It's a mixed use building
Hmm.
filled. So luckily that's been smooth so far, especially during this time, which we didn't expect that we would be able to get a tenant so quickly, which we did. So yeah, it's nice because that allows me to kind of be through the whole process from the beginning to the end.
And you kind of get to know your client's personality and what they're looking for, and so you can kind of relay that in a new tenant in a sense. Like, is that so you can kind of use your expertise and, well, I don't think you guys are going to drive, really well together. Maybe you shouldn't, or is that helpful when it comes to picking out a tenant?
Yes, and also what would do well in Ardmore. I mean, very specifically Ardmore. This building that I'm working on now is in Ardmore, and yes, I think making sure that the landlord will get along with the tenant is really important. Um, can't always call that from the beginning, but try
Sure.
my best.
That makes sense. Well, I mean, obviously it's not you, it's your client, so you really can't be 100% sure, but you have an idea of what you're looking for.
Mhm.
Help to vet them somewhat as best you
Yeah.
can.
Sure. That makes sense. Well, that's kind of cool that you can get involved in the whole from the beginning to the end kind of situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's really nice that you're able to so hyper focus on Ardmore. I think that's very important.
Yeah, I if I could, I would keep all my business in Ardmore.
Huh.
I know it inside and out like the back of my hand. So um, if I could do nothing but Ardmore, I would love to do it, whether it's residential and commercial together, which is really kind of where it's going for me. I mean, that's terrific. Now we all know we can't always just focus on one area. It's not
Mhm.
every, some clients will start saying they want Ardmore and end up in media. So you go where you go.
Mhm.
But
Now,
I
do you
understand that one
also
pretty well.
work in other areas besides the main line, or where else do you work?
yeah, I have done some work in the city and throughout the main line. I've done some, I've sold some properties in Upper Darby and Havertown. So, I mean, I'd say within a 30-minute radius is where I do most of my work.
Mhm.
And if you have someone who wants to go out, you can refer them on to another agent that you know, in that
I
area?
work on a team, and I have a team of 10 that I can go to and help me if somebody's looking at, let's say, the Bucks County area, which I don't know at all.
Right. Right.
We have also agents on my team that are licensed in New Jersey if somebody happens to want to go to New Jersey. So
For
it's
like shore property or something like that?
shore property. Some people start, I had a client wanted to start on the I'm losing my, wanted to start on the main line and then ended up wanting to go to Cherry Hill. So I can't cross that bridge, but I do have somebody that can help.
No, don't go.
Stay here.
Tell me a little bit
know.
about your team. So how does the team work? Because I, in my mind, like I think when you have a team of people, it's just you're all going after the same property, or is it the team more or less one person is specialty in this specific thing, and like how do the
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. I came to this team because I loved the team leader, and she's amazing, and I've been working with her now just actually only a few months. I just came to Berkshire Hathaway in the end of January. So I was there 3 weeks before we got shut down.
Oh my.
Yeah. So that's been interesting, getting to know my fellow agents in the office without seeing them. So I went to a team because I still like the team aspect, that if I need help with a client and showing clients properties, or just as a matter of scheduling, and I can't show a client something, but somebody else on my team can help out. That's a big part of what I like about being on a team, and also having somebody to feed off of as far as questions that might come up. Each deal is different. Everyone is different. And I'm always surprised at something that comes up that I'm like not prepared for. So having somebody to feed off of and ask questions to has been great. And then as far as to answer your question, I think each person on the team kind of works, as far as my team's concerned, works in a different area and focuses on different areas. There is some overlap, but there are enough people buying homes and enough people selling homes that there's enough for everybody.
Now, do you prefer to work with a buyer or a seller?
Oh, good question. I was going to ask that one actually.
Sorry.
Yeah, you took it.
I'm just learning everything as I'm listening to you, so these are questions that are just popping up.
The fifth on that one.
What's that?
I'm going to plead the fifth answering that question.
Okay.
Fair enough.
That makes total sense. I guess one of your biggest challenge must have been, being 3 weeks in, going into COVID and trying to learn your personalities of your team too. Like, so you're just doing Zoom and hanging out with them. Like, how are you and then you got to kind of trust them. Like, you want to trust them, but that's got to be a kind of a challenge, couldn't it?
There isn't that much interaction between the team. There's a few team members that I do interact with, but there's some that I hardly know. We kind of do our own thing and come together when it's needed. But we did weekly Zoom meetings, Zoom happy hour meetings, where, sometimes we just got on and talked about nothing because there was not much to talk about, but it was a great way just to kind of connect and talk about maybe things that were worrying us, or, information we might have just found out through the company. So that was a great opportunity for me to get to meet my fellow team members. I also met a lot of my other agents from the office through Zoom meetings. And then, I'm just getting to meet people through listings I'm showing, or people coming to look at my listings that happen to be in my office. And then I'm like, hey, you don't know me, but I actually work in your office. That's been happening.
Hey, you.
Yeah. I work.
Let me ask you this: when everything went down, hit the fan, how did you shift your business from going out and doing showings all the time to just being like, what am I supposed to do? Did you have a shift that you did?
I did. I actually took what I really liked about Berkshire Hathaway was, and I'm sure other agencies did this too, they offered so many trainings for us. Every day you could take 3 trainings and learn about how to navigate through this uncharted territory.
Hmm.
And I spent a lot of time in the beginning just doing these Zoom trainings
Gotcha.
to kind of get up to speed with virtual showings, let's say. And there's all this software that was available to me that I never had a chance to really get to learn because I was busy. So it was a chance to kind of slow down and rewind and go back and start learning some other
Hmm.
tools that were there for me. So that was great. And they really got us to the point where we were able to do a lot of our work virtually. So we never technically shut down. And I did have a listing I had a listing and a sale during quarantine time, which we kind of learned as we went. But virtual showings was a big thing. Having the owner of the property being the one that was able to show the property while you were on a Zoom call with
Hmm.
the potential buyer. So that was a huge shift. Or doing videos of homes that you would then upload so that people could see them that way. So and it happened quickly, and I think we all
Hmm.
learned pretty quickly how to do it. And I think that's something that now won't go away.
Yeah, I think
Now
that,
it's
I believe that's gonna. Yeah.
necessary to have a video with any listing.
Hmm.
I got a question though. Like when you're doing a Zoom showing, like is there a time where the buyer has an opportunity to actually go to the home during this time? Because I mean, you can see things on a camera and it looks, spectacular, but you don't know until you're actually like the depth of how big the room really is based on a camera. Like, was
During
it?
during quarantine, when we were shut down, we were not allowed to walk
Hmm.
into homes. We were not allowed to show. So it had to happen virtually.
And
Hmm.
that happened, but that happened though, right? You're saying people bought in. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I had virtual open houses where I had a few people come on at once while the homeowner walked through, and I kind of discussed and navigated through as he was filming. Um, it was the best we could do in the situation, and some
But
people had to move or some people had to sell during that time, so we were still able to do it. There was a COVID-19 addendum that existed during this time that allowed
Oh,
somebody purchasing a home to sign this addendum that said if they changed their mind or there was something that came up in the house after they settled, they could still back out, which is
oh,
amazing. They had a week. I kept calling it the lemon law. It wasn't, I mean, that's unheard of.
no, I
But
mean, it
the idea
kind of makes
was
sense.
only fair. You weren't actually ever in the property, and buying a home that way is very scary.
hmm.
Did you now? Was there a big flux in the market since COVID? Like more people selling?
It was like people were sitting in their house and deciding that they didn't like it anymore, or they wanted something smaller or bigger, and then the people that were ready to buy. So I think people that were prepared to sell or buy in the spring uh, just shifted, and technically the spring market's our busiest market, and nothing was really happening, not too much. So once that mid-June date hit and we were allowed to show it, at least for my business, I was overwhelmed at how busy. I could have never expected it to be as busy, and it's still busy. I just hope it stays that busy.
What do you now? What do you think is going to happen going forward with the market?
I don't know. I hope that we maintain this wave, as I'm calling it. This is probably the busiest I've ever been, and like I said, I didn't expect that. So it's hard to tell. This is such uncharted territory, and this is so new to anyone that I can't imagine what to expect. Like I said, I'm hoping that it's going to stay this busy, but I'm sure just like the spring market picks up and is busy and then slows down in the summer, I'm sure we will slow down come fall or mid-fall, especially if we get quarantined again, which, we don't know. So I guess I wait and see.
I,
Okay.
being in real estate now, have you found your experience working with your husband's business helpful for you when you're looking at a home or a property? Has
Yeah.
that helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I have a different perspective than others might, because I've walked homes with him for so long. So I was able to understand how an HVAC system worked and understand what knob and tube electric looks like, and things that you want to look at when you're looking, or show your clients when you're looking at a home. And also for preparing clients to list their homes, what's in trend now, what helps to sell a home. So those things, just walking houses with my husband for so long has definitely helped me in navigating through that.
That's great.
Yeah, it is great.
Now, I wanted to ask you, do you have any advice you would like to give an up-and-coming real estate agent now taking the test, or someone who's thinking about joining in? Like, you know what, maybe because of the pivot and what's going on with the pandemic, maybe they're going to go into this new career and try something different. Do you have any advice you would like to give that person? Speaking from your perspective, obviously.
Yeah, I think the advice that I was given, and being yourself and always maintain your integrity is the number one advice I'd give to somebody going into the business. I'd say build on your own relationships and use them as your referral source, because that's really ultimately, at the end of the day, that's where you will end up getting a lot of your business. So networking and knowing your community, knowing your neighbors. I think those are all really important things if you're deciding to go into real estate. It's an interesting time to try to decide to go into real estate. I may say
I'd agree with that. It's definitely like a weird time to enter the business.
Yeah,
that's for certain.
A little time.
You don't think it's going to be the 2008 all over again at the end of this?
No, because I think that was different. I think that was based on, mortgage issues, and I don't see necessarily that happening right now too much. Like I said, I don't know what to expect as far as the market is concerned and how busy this will stay, but I don't think it's the same as 2008. It's a great time to buy. The interest rates are low. And it's a great time to sell because there's a lot of people looking and not that much on the market. It's a good time for real estate.
It's a good time for real estate.
If you're in it.
So I guess the long-time goal is that you're going to be having your own team, you think, eventually?
Yeah, I think eventually I would have my own team. I'm thrilled to be at Berkshire Hathaway right now, and I see myself being there.
And you're going to be an Ardmore lifer, or what?
I plan to be
Forever.
an Ardmore lifer. I don't want to move. I don't want to move off my street, as a matter of fact. So, yeah.
Well, you do have a great neighborhood. You have a great group of people, and
we do. Yeah. And it's gotten even closer, I feel like, during quarantine time and COVID-19. We've become really close with our immediate neighbors. And I feel very lucky for living in a community like this during this time. As stuck inside as we are, I still feel like I have a great support system just through my neighbors.
That's great to hear.
That is good. Well, I don't want to take any more of your time. I'm sure you probably have other things you got to do. Josh, do you have any questions you want to ask Lisa?
No, Lisa, all I like to say is, look, I really appreciate you hopping on with us today. It was really great to get to know you. Hopefully you and I can eventually meet. I know you guys have already seen each other. Lisa, if you have the floor right now, if there's anything else you want to say before we wrap up, red carpet's out for you.
Thanks. Just thank you very much. And I appreciate your time and allowing me to come on and talk about my business. And if anybody ever needs help with buying or selling a home anywhere, not even in Ardmore, reach out to me, mainline Lisa, and Lisa Burns, and I'd be happy to help.
Well, great. Thank you very much.
Great. And yeah, of course. And everyone who is watching, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. New ones are every Tuesday at noon. And until next time, we will see you then.